Ever caught yourself making the same dumb mistake over and over and then wondering, why am I like this? It's a frustrating, almost humiliating feeling. We all mess up. It's human. We stumble. We learn. But what's genuinely concerning, what's actually holding you back, are the mistakes you keep repeating, the bad habits you cling to, the frustrating patterns you refuse to break, even when you know better, even when the evidence is staring you right in the face, even when everyone around you seems to move forward and you stay stuck. This isn't about being unintelligent. It's not about your IQ. It's about being unwise, about choosing ignorance over insight, about clinging to behaviors that actively work against your own success, your own happiness, your own mental peace. It's about sabotaging your potential day in and day out. This isn't a gentle suggestion. This isn't some fluffy self-help advice. This is a cold, hard look in the mirror, a brutal reality check. Because there are specific things, common behaviors, deeply ingrained patterns that truly smart people just don't do. They observe, they learn, they adapt, they evolve, and they ruthlessly ditch the dead weight, the behaviors that serve no purpose other than to keep them small. So, are you stuck repeating the same old cycles, endlessly expecting different results? Are you one of those people who just can't seem to get ahead, who always feels like they're fighting an uphill battle, trapped in a loop of mediocrity? Maybe it's not bad luck. Maybe it's not external forces. Maybe, just maybe, it's you. It's the daily choices you make, the habits you allow to fester, that add up to your current reality. And some of those choices, let's be absolutely blunt, are just plain dumb. It's time to talk about them. The unspoken rules of personal growth and genuine success that far too many people break, unknowingly or knowingly, to their own immense detriment. We're going to reveal not just one, not just two, but 7 incredibly specific habits, 7 common pitfalls, 7 deeply ingrained patterns that only the truly, and I mean truly, unwise keep falling into. These are not minor quirks. These are fundamental roadblocks, behavior patterns that scream to the world and to yourself, am not learning, am not growing, am not moving forward. And if you're doing even one of them, it's time for a radical shift, a fundamental reevaluation of how you operate. Think about it deeply. The constant frustration, the persistent stagnation, the debilitating feeling of being stuck in mental quicksand, watching opportunities slip away. That's often the direct result of these unspoken, yet powerfully destructive habits. This video is your unequivocal chance to finally see them for what they are, to identify them within yourself, and to systematically eliminate them from your life. Because nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, wants to be seen as, well, stupid. And these actions, these patterns, they're the telltale signs. They are the clear, undeniable indicators that you're not operating at your full potential, that you're actively, perhaps unconsciously, sabotaging your own future. So, are you ready for a bit of uncomfortable truth? Are you brave enough, truly brave enough, to examine your own routines, your own thought processes, and acknowledge precisely where you're going wrong? This isn't about shaming you. This is about empowering you to stop doing the dumb things and start doing the genuinely smart ones. Because you deserve to live a life that's productive, that's fulfilling, that's genuinely intelligent and full of purpose. But you simply can't get there by clinging to behaviors that actively drag you down into mediocrity and regret. So let's dive in. Let's rip back the curtain on these self-sabotaging actions. The things that only those who stubbornly refuse to learn, refuse to grow, refuse to evolve. Keep doing. Prepare yourself. This might sting a little. The truth, unvarnished and direct, often does. But the freedom, the clarity, the incredible progress and profound peace that comes from breaking these chains is worth every single ounce of discomfort, every single moment of brutal self-reflection. Are you ready to finally stop being that person? The person who always makes the same mistakes, always complains about the same problems, always ends up in the same undesirable spot? The one who watches others succeed and constantly wonders why not them? The one who feels perpetually stuck, trapped by their own predictable, self-defeating patterns? Good, because it's time for real change. It's time for brutal honesty. It's time for these 7 things. Good, because it's time for real change. It's time for brutal honesty. It's time for these 7 things. But before we rip into the specific list, the actual behaviors, let's talk about the cure, the antidote, the framework that truly intelligent people use to systematically eliminate these self-defeating patterns. Because just pointing out what you're doing wrong isn't enough. You need the tools to fix it, to truly change, to stop being that person. And the best tools for this come from an ancient philosophy, one forged in the fires of reality, not in some ivory tower. Stoicism. No, it's not about being emotionless. That's a stupid misconception. Stoicism is about being wise, being resilient, being in control of yourself. When everything else feels out of control, it is about practical wisdom for everyday life, for stopping the dumb things you do. So what's the core idea here? The absolute bedrock principle of Stoicism that directly tackles the stupid patterns in your life? It is the dichotomy of control. This simply means knowing the difference between what is actually in your power and what is absolutely not. This is where most people screw up. Big time. They waste enormous amounts of energy, mental energy, emotional energy, raging against things they cannot change. The weather, the past, other people's opinions, the economy, their boss's mood, their colleagues' incompetence, traffic, you name it. They complain, they stew, they get angry, they feel helpless. And they do this over and over, expecting a different result. That, my friend, is genuinely stupid. It's a futile waste of your most precious resources, your attention, your time, your peace of mind. A smart person, a Stoic, understand this fundamental truth. They ask, can I influence this? Is this something I can directly act upon? If the answer is yes, they act. They take responsibility. They put in the work. If the answer is no, they let it go, not with resignation, but with a powerful, deliberate acceptance. They don't waste a single drop of energy on it. They don't complain. They don't moan. They conserve their power for things that actually matter, things they can change. Their own thoughts, their own actions, their own character. Think about the sheer amount of frustration you experience daily. How much of it comes from things outside your control? Most of it, right? Your boss yelling at you, your flight getting delayed, someone cutting you off in traffic. These are external events. You can't control them, but you can control your reaction. You can choose not to let it ruin your day. You can choose not to obsess over for hours. And that choice, that deliberate, conscious choice, is the core of Stoic wisdom. It is a beginning of stopping the dumb cycle of perpetual complaint and frustration. This leads us to another powerful Stoic principle, Amor Fati, love of fate. No, this isn't about being passive. It's about embracing everything that happens, good or bad, seeing it as an opportunity, a challenge, something to learn from. When something goes wrong, truly intelligent people don't say, why me? They say, okay, this happened. What now? What can I make of this? They don't whine about the hand they are dealt. They play it skillfully, because the truth is, life is going to throw curveballs. You will face setbacks. You will experience loss. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. That is not optional. That's just life. The stupid thing to do is to be surprised every time it happens, to constantly lament your bad luck, to wish things were different. A smart person understands this. They anticipate it. They prepare for it. They even practice a technique called Premeditatio Malorum, or negative visualization. They actively think about what could go wrong, not to scare themselves, but to mentally inoculate themselves against the shock, to prepare their minds, to realize that most of their fears are just thoughts, and that they are strong enough to handle whatever comes. This practice makes you resilient. It makes you robust. It stops you from constantly falling apart when things don't go your way, which is, let's face it, a common stupid reaction. Instead of being crushed by adversity, you become anti-fragile. You get stronger from it. You learn. You adapt. So, how do we apply this to the constant cycle of stupid mistakes? By taking responsibility for our internal world, by ruthlessly examining our thoughts and reactions. This is another crucial Stoic practice, daily self-reflection. The Stoics would journal. They would review their day. Where did I act unwisely? Where did I lose my temper? Where did I allow external things to dictate my mood? What could I have done better? This isn't about self-flagellation. It's about honest, objective self-assessment. It's about learning. Real learning. Not just saying, oops, I did it again, and then doing it again tomorrow. It's about building self-awareness. About catching yourself before you make the same dumb mistake. About understanding your triggers, your weak spots, and then deliberately strengthening them. Because the truly stupid thing is to keep repeating the same actions, getting the same negative results, and expecting a different outcome. It is insanity, as they say. Intelligent people don't do that. They identify the pattern, they understand the cause, and they implement a fix. And often, the root cause of these self-defeating patterns is allowing our emotions to run wild. Our passions, our impulses. Another huge Stoic emphasis is on reason over emotion. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about acknowledging them, feeling them, but not letting them control your actions. Not letting anger dictate your words. Not letting fear paralyze you. Not letting desire lead you down destructive paths. How many of your past mistakes were made in the heat of the moment, driven by anger, by lust, by instant gratification, by a desperate need for approval? Probably most of them. A smart person pauses. They create a gap between the stimulus and their response. They think, is this a rational response? Is this aligned with my values? Is this going to lead to a good outcome? They use their reason. They exercise self-control. This is a practice. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is essential for breaking the cycle of impulsive, self-sabotaging behavior. Finally, the Stoics teach us that virtue is the only true good. Not money, not fame, not pleasure, not power, but wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, self-control. These are things entirely within your power. These are the only things that truly make you a good, intelligent, thriving human being. When you chase external things, which are outside your control, you set yourself up for frustration and disappointment. You open yourself up to envy, to comparison, to constant dissatisfaction. And those feelings that chasing often leads to incredibly stupid decisions, desperate decisions, compromising decisions. A truly intelligent person builds their life on an internal foundation, on their character, on their integrity, on what they can control. And they understand that everything else, everything external, is indifferent. It can be used for good or ill, but it doesn't determine their worth. It doesn't determine their happiness. So, when we talk about these 7 things that only stupid people keep doing, understand this. Each one of them is a direct violation of these core Stoic principles. Each one is a failure to exercise the dichotomy of control, a failure to embrace fate, a failure to reflect, a failure to use reason over emotion, a failure to prioritize virtue. This isn't just theory. This is a practical operating manual for a life free from constant frustration and self-sabotage, for a life of genuine intelligence and purpose. It is your opportunity to step off the hamster wheel of repeated mistakes, to stop being stuck, to finally move forward, to evolve. Are you ready to truly learn? To take these principles and apply them with brutal honesty to your own life? Because the painful truth is, if you keep doing these 7 things, you are actively choosing to be unwise. You are actively choosing to sabotage your own potential. But that choice can be unmade. Right now, today, this is your chance to reclaim your power, to stop being a victim of your own bad habits, to stop letting external forces, or worse, your own untrained mind dictate your misery. The Stoic fix is here. The framework is clear. Now, let's get into the specific behaviors. The 7 undeniable signs that you're making truly dumb choices. Choices that are keeping you small, keeping you miserable, and keeping you far, far away from the life you deserve. It is time to face them head on, without excuses, without pity, just the cold, hard facts, and the path to change. Okay, so we laid the groundwork. We've unmasked the insidious, self-sabotaging patterns that keep smart people stuck, the 7 things only truly stupid people keep doing. But more importantly, we've armed you with the antidote, the ancient, powerful wisdom of Stoicism. Remember, Stoicism isn't some academic theory. It's a battle-tested toolkit for mastering your mind, for controlling what you can control, and for letting go of everything else. It is the operating system for a genuinely intelligent life. We talk about the dichotomy of control, understanding what is in your power and what isn't. Stop wasting energy on the unchangeable. We explored Amor Fati, loving everything that happens, using every setback as fuel. We touched on Premeditatio Malorum, mentally preparing for what's coming, making yourself anti-fragile. We stressed daily self-reflection, honest assessment, learning from your mistakes instead of repeating them mindlessly. We emphasize reason over raw emotion, creating that crucial gap between stimulus and response. And we highlighted virtue as the only true good, building your life on an internal foundation of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These aren't just fancy words. These are the pillars that support a life free from the misery of constant, stupid mistakes. They are the keys to reclaiming your sanity, your effectiveness, your peace. The cold, hard truth is this: ignorance is a choice. Repeating these 7 dumb behaviors, once you know better, is a deliberate act of self-sabotage. It's choosing to stay small. It's choosing to stay miserable. It's choosing to let life happen to you instead of happening for you. Your suffering, your lack of progress, much of it is self-inflicted. It's a direct result of ignoring these fundamental principles. No one else is making you do these dumb things. You are, but that ends now. So what next? Don't just watch this video and move on. That's another stupid behavior. Take action. Start small. First, identify one of those 7 stupid things that resonates most with you. The one you are most guilty of. Just one. Second, pick one Stoic principle we discussed that directly counters that behavior. Third, for the next 7 days, commit to actively applying that principle to that specific behavior. For example, if you constantly complain about traffic that you can't control, apply the dichotomy of control. When you feel the complaint rising, pause. Ask, is this in my power? If no, actively let it go. Redirect your thought. If you regularly make impulsive decisions driven by emotion, apply reason over emotion. When the impulse hits, pause. Count to 5. Ask, is this wise? Is this aligned with my values? Start a simple daily reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, where did I act unwisely today? Where did I allow an external event to control my mood? What could I have done better? Just 5 minutes. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking ownership. It's about choosing intelligence over inertia. If this video sparks something in you, if you are ready to stop being stupid and start living a life of purpose and control, then prove it. Hit that subscribe button right now. Join this community of people committed to ruthless self-improvement. And more importantly, leave a comment below. Tell me, which of the 7 stupid things are you most committed to changing? And which Stoic principle will you use to tackle it? Your commitment holds power. Your shared experience helps others. And if you found this valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear these hard truths. Someone who is stuck in their own loop of dumb choices. This isn't about judging others. This is about judging yourself honestly and then choosing to evolve. The future you will thank the current you for making this choice. Stop being a victim of your own mind. Reclaim your intelligence. Reclaim your life. The power is yours. Use it now.